Okay, audio's rolling on the YouTube. The tube is good. All right, fuck yeah, let's go. Let's do this today. Let's fucking do this. Yo, what's up, people? Welcome to another episode of the Meathead on the Mic podcast. This is episode number 69, no pun intended. And we're going to talk about the man that opened up my eyes. All right, so no pun intended, episode 69. Hold on, I'm setting up over here real quick. We're going to talk about it. If you saw the post that I dropped today earlier on, then you know where I'm coming from. Okay. Again, that one I didn't intentionally mean that to be, where I'm coming from, whatever. Anyway, hopefully you guys have like a little bit more mature than I am, because it's episode number 69, and I keep fucking saying weird shit. All right, so before we dive in, yeah, let me know how your day's going. Josh says, "Yo, can you answer my DM?" Yeah, definitely. I will after this. I'm going to be hitting the gym, and I'll look at that. Right, so I'll check that out. Are you asking for an ebook, or do you actually have a question? Just so I know before I head in. And also send me another message so that your message comes to the top of the DM, because I get a lot of messages. So I want to be able to see it right after this live stream. All right, bro. People, let me know how your day's going when you do join. We're gonna be talking about it today. All right, we're gonna be talking about the man that opened up my eyes. So if you don't know, if you didn't see my post today on social media, we were talking about nutrition. All right, so send me another message, and that'll bring up. It'll come up a little bit higher on the DM. So if you didn't see the post that I dropped earlier on, I'm going to talk about it a little bit in this podcast episode, and sort of how it helped me understand, like for myself, the perspective that I needed to sort of put myself into to really, really get like a grounding and a base understanding for why I do what I do. Because like I know why I do what I want to do. Right? It's like, first of all, I'm a bodybuilder. I love fitness. I love nutrition, and I have these skills, and I've got this body, and I'm like, I'm gonna teach people how to build this body. And my thing is usually, I'm like, I usually, oh, let me plug this laptop in before it dies. I usually say this, and I used to say this a lot to not only my old clients but like old friends. I'm like, yo, my goal is to like give you guys and girls at least 1% of what I have with my physique, right? So if that means I'm like giving you knowledge, if that means I'm like helping you train, anything like that, if I can give you like 1% of it, or I give you enough knowledge, then you'll have the ability to at least to 1% of where I am, which is like that's what I want to do, right? Like that's why I help people, because they already asked me for help. But last week Sunday, it really opened my eyes, man. I'll be honest with you. I didn't see it coming, and it was just one of those moments that like for a fact God put you in. And we're going to talk a little bit about that today. So without wasting any time, we're going to be diving into the podcast episode in 4, 3, 2, and 1. Yo, what's good, meatheads? Hope you're having an amazing day, and welcome to another episode of the Meathead on the Mic podcast. It's your returning champion, IFBB Pro Matt Butale, coming at you with another topic. And today, I'll be sharing a deep story with you guys. All right, a really deep story. But before we get into that, do not forget to screenshot and share this podcast to your IG story to show support. I want to know that you're watching. I want to know that you're getting value. I want to get the support and see you guys supporting me. All right. So tag me on Instagram at SCHWARZENXGGA. That's my at name on Instagram. Tag it on your stories. If you're watching this on a live stream, screenshot it. If you're watching this or listening to this on the podcast replay, screenshot your Spotify or Apple podcast screen and post it on your IG story. I want to see that. All right. And if you're watching this on YouTube, hit the sub for real. All right. So let's dive into this one. Let's get into this episode today. It's titled "The Man That Opened My Eyes." Okay. And this one is, I was just talking about it off the mic. Something that, like, when I think about why I'm a coach, like why I help people, why I decided to make it my mission, my life's mission to help people and, you know, allow them to like learn about fitness and nutrition from my perspective, so they can burn fat, so they can like be a little bit more happy in their physique, in their skin. Like on the surface, it seems like it just makes sense for me to want that, right? Because I mean, let's look at it. My whole entire life, okay, my whole entire life, I've been into health and fitness. My whole entire life, I was a freestyle wrestler. I played football in high school. I swam when I was a kid, right? And then, I was always in the gym. I would sneak to go into the gym. Everything, man, everything. Okay, and then of course I got into bodybuilding as I got older, but health and fitness has always been a part of my life. I'm just gonna be honest, right? So it kind of just like made sense for me to become this person that always just helps people lose fat, or helps people when it comes to learning how to train and things of that sort. And the reason why is because they already asked me, Matt, how do I train? They already asked me, Matt, what should I eat based off of the way I look? So I felt that it was a natural sort of inclination for me to just dive into, becoming somebody that helps other people with coaching, right? And it was very surface level for a long time. It was pretty much, hey, bro, I want to get jacked. You're jacked. You know what to eat. You know how to train. Train me. That's pretty much like what it was, surface level. But last Sunday, okay, guys and girls, last Sunday, I went through an experience that really, really opened my fucking eyes. And I'm going to share that experience with you today. As I said, I'll be sharing a deep story with you guys and girls. All right. I really want to share this. I want to share this. This is something that really warmed my heart, and this happened last week. I'm gonna walk you through it. All right. So I was walking out of a sushi restaurant. I was finished eating, and I was walking out of a sushi restaurant with my boy, right? When a nice man by the name of Joseph stopped me. All right. So my buddy Kirby, shout out to Kirby, Kirby underscore Rodriguez. If you don't know him, if you don't follow him, hit him up on TikTok. He's blowing up. So Kirby and I were enjoying some all you can eat sushi this like last Sunday at the sushi bar, right? We were sharing laughs, picking out, and talking about crazy childhood stories, like so much shit. I'm not going to get into it. We were just having a blast, right? Um, and after we ate ourselves into a fucking food coma, we were on our way out. We're pretty much done. We're leaving. We're gonna go pay the bill, right? And as I was leaving, like I noticed on the corner of my eye, I saw this guy in a yellow shirt, really, really, really heavy set dude. Like, he was obese, right? I'm not making fun of my guy right here. He was really obese. He was massive. Okay. And he had this bib, this really, really long bib. It was like 3 feet long. I kid you not. And again, he's at an all you can eat sushi restaurant. So it's like if anything falls, it wouldn't go on the floor. He'd be able to eat it. Like it was a massive bib. Like I kid you not, it was 3 feet in length and at least 2 feet in width. Right. So he had this bib and I just was staring at it as I was walking by. I wasn't like being rude or anything. It caught my eye for a little bit, and then I continue walking. So I'm walking and I'm passing by this table where this heavy set man in a yellow shirt with a giant bib is, right? And as I'm about to cross the table completely and completely go behind this man, that large guy, all right, okay, in the bib with his bright yellow t-shirt said, "Excuse me, sir." I was like, "What the fuck?" Like I turn around, I'm like, maybe he's asking for someone else because I'm here with my boy Kirby, and we're just leaving, and I didn't drop anything. I looked around, who's he talking to? And like before I could even open my mouth, as soon as I looked at him, he asked me, Matt, or he didn't say Matt, but I'm talking about Matt here. So he asked me, he's like, "How long did it take you to build your body?" Quick question. Like that's what he asked me. As soon as I looked at him after he said, "Excuse me, sir," he's like, "How long did it take for you to build your body?" And I'll be honest, I quickly I looked at him, I looked down, I could see like his gut was like coming halfway up his thigh as he was sitting down, and I was looking at his bib. It was like seriously massive. Like I didn't even know what it was when I was sitting before we stood up because I mean where we were sitting, I could see him and he was eating, he was enjoying his meal, and I didn't care. You know what I mean? I wasn't paying attention to him, but I was like, "What is that on his neck? Like, what is that? Is it a part of his t-shirt or is it like?" So then, as I got closer, I realized it was a bib. Anyway, um, I looked at his bib quickly, then I looked up in his eyes, like I just looked at him. I'm like, I quickly answered. I'm like, well, over 10 years, man, you know? And then I, dove into my athletic background. I used to wrestle in high school and things of that sort. And I'm like, these are the reasons why I think, at 20, 24 years old, I look like this, right? Because I was pretty much training out the womb. That's actually what I said word for word. And we laughed. I'm like, I've been training since I was born. I was training out the womb, man. And we laughed. So after that, he found out, he's like, "Oh, you're 24, bro." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm 24." He's like, "Holy shit, you're a baby." And then we started laughing. And he's like, "I've got 2 kids. I've got a son and a daughter, and they're older than you." And I'm like, "Okay, how old are they?" He's like, "Oh, my son's 34, my daughter's 37." And then he just gave me a little walkthrough down memory lane. And he was just talking about them as kids and, how his son was so active. His son, had a nice physique, just as he did in the past, because his name is Joseph. And we're going to find that out later on, of course. Um, he's got the son and the daughter, and his son was physically active, but he noticed something. Okay, he noticed something. I'm going to talk about that later on, and it's something that he noticed in himself too. So he introduced himself and he said his name is Joseph, and then he talked to me about how he played every single sport except hockey because he couldn't skate fast enough for some reason at that time. Right? He said he was in tip top shape back in the day. How many guys and girls hear of the old folks? Again, he's got white hair, right? So he's an older guy. They're like, oh, back in the day, I used to do this and that, or back in the day, this and the other thing, right? Like he essentially said to me, he's like, you know, back in the day, I used to look like you in high school, right? And I usually look at that line, and when people tell me that shit, and they're like, "Yo, I used to look like you back in the day," I usually just like roll my eyes and shrug it off because it's sort of like when you're in the gym and it's like you're there and someone compliments you and then you compliment them back in the gym. If you're a gym bro, you know what I'm talking about. They're like, I'm trying to get like you. So you got a big chest, and the other guy goes, no, I'm trying to get like you, or you've got big arms. I'm trying to get like you. It's just sort of like that. It's just like, like, come on, bro. Like, let's be honest here. Like, you're not trying to get like me. Some shit like that, right? So he goes, I used to look like you in high school, and I normally, bro, I won't even lie, guys and girls. Normally, I'd roll my eyes. Normally, I would roll my eyes. Normally, I wouldn't pay attention to that. I would just be like, haha, lol, shrug it off. But for some fucking reason, for some reason, like it just didn't sound the same. It didn't sound like he was like being like bragging, or if it was like bravado, or if he was like belittling me. It just didn't sound like that. The tone of it wasn't like, oh, I used to look like you in high school. It was a little bit different. He sounded like he truly missed the glory days. It really sounded like that, right? And I was inclined to listen to him because of that. You know what I mean? I felt like he wasn't, really just talking to talk. He was really opening his heart. He was being vulnerable with me, right? So he wasn't just saying these things. All right. So I listened to him because of that. And to be honest, it broke my heart because I can tell the difference between someone just saying something to say something and saying something when they mean it. And he fucking meant that. Like he wasn't saying that to like seem cool in front of me at all. It broke my heart. I'll keep it a stack. All right. So I squatted down so I could hear him more clearly because, it's a restaurant. People are moving around. And I shook his hand, very firm handshake. And he said to me, I hate how people look at me and judge me before they know me. They see a fat guy and automatically think I'm, lazy, not worth anything. I sleep all the time. I eat myself sick, all this and that. And they just have all these negative things to say about me. Or if they're not saying it, they're thinking it. And I can see that they're thinking it. And yo, when I fucking tell you, after he told me that, like my eyes were burning a little bit. Like I was playing it off, you know what I'm saying? I gotta keep it cool. But that shit, like I felt that, man. Like in my heart, I fucking felt that. Um, he goes to me, Joseph goes, when I look at you, I see discipline, health, and a symbol of a hardworking man, right? Because I was in there, and I won't even lie, I was mogging the entire sushi bar. I was in an undershirt. Um, it was boiling hot that day, so I was just in an undershirt and I was just enjoying myself. And he saw my physique essentially when I was sitting there and eating, right? So he said, when I see you, I see a symbol of a hardworking, disciplined, healthy man. And that is probably, of course, what made him want to reach out to me in the first place, just to talk. And hearing that made my chest cave in because I could see it in his fucking eyes. Like the dude was down, eh? He was down. He wasn't there to talk to me just to talk to me. Like he didn't want to just have small talk. Like it looked like he was confessing something. It looked like if you were to look at him, he was confessing murder. I looked at him in his eyes, and he was just, you can see that shit, and I felt that. It was like pure energy, right? And he told me, you know, he noticed something that was bad that was happening with his son that happened with him. And this repeating habit was essentially inactivity. So remember when I talked about his son who's 34 or whatever, right? Um, Back in the day, his son was very physically active, playing a lot of sports, just like his old man Joseph. And he picked up this job as an accountant. He gets paid really well. All right, the son gets paid really well, and he's basically trading in his health for the money, because over the years, Joseph goes, I noticed my son is going down the same path that I went down, and I would hate for him to go down this path because of the feeling of being this way. Is not There's nothing in the world that you can get that you should give up or sacrifice to feel as bad as I do right now. And he's just going on about the pain that he's feeling, man. And I'm like fucking trying to thug it out. I keep my chin up. I'm not gonna cry in front of this fucking random dude that I don't know. But I'm not even a crier, bro. I probably cry like once a year, no cap. Right? Actually twice this year, once on podcast. Shout out to to be Mark, but like I was like, this shit hit me, bro, right in the chest, right in the fucking chest. I'm like, fuck, man. So I almost wanted to ask him, like, so what are you doing about it? But then I looked at him, I'm like, he's not even doing anything about himself. No wonder he feels so down. Like, I'm like, fuck, he's been the bad example. That's what he feels like. And I just kept my mouth shut. I'm just nodding my head and I'm listening to him very carefully. All right, like very carefully. Right. He says, my son's barely active. He's an accountant, and I want this to change. So listening to Joseph and hearing the pain in his voice, when he said how ashamed he was, of sort of leading on that example of being the father that he was, and how ashamed he was just to fucking go out and eat, man. Like I swear to God, like, that bib that he wore, it was massive. Everybody was probably looking at him, and he probably gets like stares and all this shit everywhere else, man. And it sucks. It really sucks. And now that I think back to it, I remember where he was sitting, man. He was like in the middle of nowhere. Nobody was in front of him. Nobody was behind him. Everybody else was everywhere else. He was isolated in the middle with just with one table. And just now that I really think about it, like I didn't think about it that day. Now that I really think about it, it's fucking sad. It's really sad. It's really sad. And I would hate for my worst enemy to be in that position, to be so uncomfortable with themselves, they just isolate themselves everywhere because they feel like that outlier, that everyone laughs at, that everyone, judges immediately and thinks is like nasty, a slug, because you're fat or whatever. Right. And I'm gonna come all the way clean. I gotta call myself out too, because there was some content that I was making recently, some of the reels that I was making, I thought they were funny. And I still do think they're funny. But I gotta come to the reality that, it's not that cool, man. Some of the reels that I was making, the TikToks, things like that. One of the slogans that I put in was what was it? It said, "Hey, bro, do you got bigger tits than your wife or your girlfriend or something like that?" And I put pictures up and all that, and it's catchy and it's funny, and like that's why I did that. But at the same time, like I'm like, what if like a guy like Joseph saw that? You know what I mean? So I'm definitely gonna be a little bit more cautious with the content that I'm going to be putting out, because I don't want to like I want to get their attention. I want you guys to see what the reality of your life is. Not to say that you already don't, but at the same time, it's like I don't want to already dig a deeper grave than you've dug for yourself in that sense. So it's like anyway, that was a part of the reflection, but not the most part of the reflection, and we're gonna get to that later on. So I was just listening to the guy. He was just so ashamed. He was so guilty for the life that he led for his kids. And now he's seeing how that's manifesting in his kid's life, mainly his son, right? And I was like devastated. Like I really wish I could just do something right there and just like help him and like just rip the weight off of him. I really wish I could do that, but I couldn't. Instead, I thanked him for the conversation. We exchanged numbers. I shook his hand. I said, God bless you, sir. And then it hit me. As soon as I walked out and I paid for my bill, I just stood there, and the sun just started to fucking rise. Like it was just outside rising, and through the glass, it was just hitting. It looked like a fucking movie. And then I looked back over my shoulder. He couldn't see me because his back was facing me as I passed him. And I just remember feeling so fucking grateful. Like so grateful. And I was so thankful. And Joseph, if you ever listen to this, Joseph, I'm so grateful for you for helping me reconnect with my true purpose on this earth. That conversation that I had with Joseph really opened up my fucking eyes. Like, again, taking a step back here to what I was talking about earlier, it used to be surface level for me. Matt, you look good. Matt, you're a professional bodybuilder. Matt, this and that, you're national champion, two-time national champion, whatever it is. So help me, dude. Help me, dude. Just because you look the part. But I mean, like, yeah, I look the part, but at the same time, now I feel the part. Do you know what I mean? If that makes sense, because looking the part is what made Joseph feel enough or comfortable enough to reach out to me just to talk, right? Which honestly, salute to him, because most people don't like meatheads and they don't want to talk to somebody that's got muscle. But he reached out to me because I looked the part and felt it was okay to have that conversation. And it's not that he felt not it's not only that he felt okay to have that conversation, but it's what the conversation was about. Him being open, him being vulnerable. It's like he can open up and say, "Hey, man, it's like you got something that I want, and I just wish I had it, and I'm just gonna pour my heart out." And that alone, to me, Like him pouring his heart out, him being vulnerable, him trusting me with his story means more than me just being a fucking jack professional bodybuilder that, I can answer questions about nutrition. Like, I don't know what it was about me or what it was about him that allowed him to just speak up, but he spoke up and he didn't want to talk about, hey, what should you eat? Or, hey, how many days did you train? He just told me the pain that he was feeling. And to have that level of trust without even knowing this dude, I don't even know him. For him to just open up, and now I know he's got 2 kids. Do you know what I mean? And I know what's going on with his son and his daughter and, him and what he did in the past. And to have that type of connection with me is the reason why I fucking do this shit. It's not just to help you lose weight. It's not just to help you swole, but it's to help you build confidence. All right. Build confidence and feel comfortable in your own skin. So comfortable that when you go out, you're that person that they reach out to. You're that person that can walk with your head up high. You're that person that isn't anxious or insecure about the way that they look because they're proud of who they are. They're not ashamed of who they are. Joseph having that conversation with me really opened that perspective up. And I'm like, that's my purpose. My true purpose is to allow people to shine the light that they've got inside and outwards. Like that's my true purpose. It's not just to help you lose weight. It's just to help you, put on muscle. Like that's the benefit. I almost think that's like supplementary to the fact that your confidence will increase once you do those things. You know what I mean? And having that conversation with him last Sunday really opened up my eyes to that. And I'm just really grateful for Joseph there, man. If you ever listen to this in the future, I mean, you've got my number. You can shoot me a message at any point in time. I'm super fucking grateful for the conversation that we had. All right. So, my purpose, people, that this man helped me realize that my purpose that this man opened my eyes to is that my reality is that I'm here to serve and help people just like Joseph rid themselves of feeling less than, rid themselves of feeling ashamed, insecure, anxious, disgusted by themselves by improving our exterior shells. All right? Our bodies. The cover of the book that everyone judges us by without even knowing us. The cover that he judged me by. And unfortunately, the cover that I judged them by subconsciously. Yes, subconsciously, I did think negative things because of the negative situation that he's in, right? But these are our bodies. And I realized that my purpose is not just to change your body, but it's to allow yourself to be changed internally because of the change of your body. Like that's the bigger picture. And I'm grateful that I had that conversation with him because without that, it was pretty much, it just felt like it was surface level with, what I was doing in my life. Like, yep, I'll help you lose weight. Yep, I'll help you get a little bit bigger. Cool. Muscles, right? But having that conversation, it allowed me to go another layer deeper and realize that it's not, although it's not all about the mirror, it's about the mirror, but more so the reflection. And not the reflection of others, but the what you see in the mirror, like how you feel about that image and how that allows you to carry yourself through this world. So thank you again, Joseph. I appreciate that, man. I really do appreciate that. And I want you to know if you're listening to this or if you read the post that I put up earlier and you feel like Joseph, you feel like Joe, I want you to know that you're not alone and that you have the power to change your body and the way that others perceive you. It all starts with looking in the mirror and making the change. There's no shame in trying. So why haven't you gotten started? That's it. That's all. I hope you like this episode. Share it out with a friend if you did. I hope I was able to deliver a valuable experience with you guys and girls today. Thank you so much for your precious time and attention. Feel free to DM me if you want to reach out and become a part of the Natural Nomad Academy. Don't forget to screenshot and share this podcast to your IG stories to show support. Again, that's at SCHWARZENXGGA. Schwarzenegger, hit me up on Instagram, tag me on your stories. Let me know that you guys are enjoying this. Let me know that you guys and girls are supporting me and getting the value from the Meathead on the Mic podcast. Let's embrace your inner meathead together. All right. It's been nice chatting. Hope you like what today's topic was about. Natural IFBB PRO Matt Butale signing out. Boom. Podcast recorded, people. That's what I'm saying. Someone's on YouTube here. Chris Murphy goes, "Can I lick those biceps?" I don't know, bro. What's wrong with you, bro? TR. TM. Oh, I think I know this guy then. I think that's one of my boys. He's trolling me. Fuck off. Let's see. Yo, brother. What's good, man? I saw that pop up there, but I was recording the podcast, so I wasn't gonna jump in there. But I fucking appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in, my guy. Much love, Holmes. Um, Finally, someone with your username. That's awesome. I appreciate you, TikTok. Your purpose is to change lives. Thank you, Ace. Yes, it is. Thank you. Who wouldn't want to talk to someone with muscles? Most people won't. Most people won't. And it's not for no reason. It's just like kind of intimidating. And I get it. I get it. It's like, pretty girls are pretty, but guys don't always want to talk to pretty girls because pretty is also intimidating, right? Something like that. And I'm not calling myself pretty, but if you think I'm pretty, that's cool. Jimmy Neutron 3000 says, "Is Kendrick Lamar more influential than Martin Luther King?" I'm not gonna answer that question because you're clearly not even in the discussion today. You look like Will I Am. Okay, I always look like somebody when I go on this, but TikTok, you do your thing. Seth, I appreciate the follow. Um, I appreciate the likes too, man. 241 on you, Seth. What a guy. Ace workout routine. Hit me up on my TikTok page or Instagram page. I've got a bunch of workout routines, or you can shoot me a message and I'll just give you one for free, honestly. Ethan, what's good? I appreciate the follow. Is this Cold War? No, this is not Cold War, bro. Funny. Jeffrey, I appreciate the join. Let's see what we've got here on Instagram. Hey, Zach Witt, winner of the $1,100 Meathead on the mic. Or not Meathead on the mic. Well, I guess it was that too, but Natural Nomad Academy giveaway. He says, "Let's go another pod." He's tuning in. He always stays tuned in on the podcast because he's a fucking real one. Bianca, I appreciate you. I appreciate everybody that joined. Lizzie, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You're amazing. Thank you so much. Zach says, "You're a good man, bro. Love to see it." I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, bro. Lizzie says, I'm totally a meathead." Okay. Yoshi, what's good, bro? Bianca says Michael Jackson vibes. Yes, literally make that change. So you did notice that when I so I'm not as slick as I thought. Ah, man. Yes. When I was writing that at the end, I was like, make that change. I don't know why it just came to my head, but it was like man in the mirror, right? So and then we got Michael Jackson in the background there too on that poster. TikTok and Facebook can't see it, but YouTube and Instagram can. Michael Jackson's my favorite artist of all time. Ultimate GOAT. Um, Hey, another fire podcast. You know what it is, bro. Bianca says, "Bill, Matt, good to see you doing well. Absolutely. I'm glad to see that you're here, you're present, and you actually clicked on the live stream. You didn't have to, you did. I fucking appreciate you." And Bianca says, "I'm glad you found another new perspective. Thank you so much." Lizzie says, "You're beautiful. Thank you so much. You're beautiful as well, Lizzie. Appreciate you. You're always complimenting me on these live streams." Yoshi says, "You're the younger version of Charles Glass." Dude, that's funny. I actually met Charles Glass in person. He's a genius. That guy's a genius. I think I met him twice. And the Toronto Pro Expo 2017 and 18. He's a legend, that guy. He's a legend. And I'm so grateful that I got to meet that guy, man. Bianca says, "I hope that one day I'll be able to have the power to make that kind of change." Yeah, you have the power. You have the power right now. You just have to make the decision. Right? It's like you have the power. Look at this. I got this light switch, right? I have the power to turn it on. The electricity is here, but I just have to make the choice to turn it on. You have the power. Just make the choice. You feel me? Does that make sense? Savage J says, "Yo, I appreciate you, Holmes. Appreciate you. You know what it is. Appreciate you." Bianca says, "Not because I think I'm fat, but because I've always kind of struggled with never feeling good enough." And I'll tell you this much, and I'm not going to say that you don't or do think you're fat. I'm not saying anything of that. You know who you are, right? But what I'm saying is this: typically, people that feel a certain way manifest those feelings because of what they see visually. So you don't even have to be fat. You could be skinny for this too, or you could even be in the middle. But you've manifested this thought through not only just voices in your head, but what you see in the mirror. So it is still time for you to make that change. And you do have the power to make that change, Bianca. All right? If you feel like you never felt good enough, doing something that's going to make you feel good, which is physical activity, is going to make you feel better, which in turn one day might actually make you feel good enough. Bianca says, "I've been struggling with that the past few days." Homegirl, shoot me a DM. We'll talk about this. I don't want to air your personal business out on the air here because we're streaming fucking everywhere. I don't want to do that. out of respect for you. People. Ace, I got the follow. All right, folks. That's it. That's all. We'll be back again on Monday with another episode of the Meathead on the Mic podcast. Okay. I'm going to go fucking hit some lats. I don't know if you guys can see that. I'm going to hit some back, some shoulders, some traps, go all the way in, and then enjoy the rest of my day. Get to work. All right. Lizzie says, "Are you single?" Yes, I'm single. I'm single, but I'm not mingling. I'm married to the gym right now, so that's what it is. Arshot, what's happening, bro? All right, people. That's it. That's all. We'll be out of here. I hope you motherfuckers have the sickest and wickedest weekend of your goddamn life. IFBB PRO Matt Patale signing out. Boom. Peace.